Episode 16 of the F1 22 career mode with Mclaren, and we're here in Austin, America, Circuit of the Americas, and Mclaren are running pretty well in this one. Yeah, the first half of the race, I don't know what happened, man, someone must have run it over, but Alonso does a free, well, it was like a 270 to be honest, and Lando Norris, the 1-2 that Mclaren were running in, out the window, out the door. I mean, I feel sorry for this guy. It's probably because I haven't upgraded the durability, but you know, fuck the durability. Why would you want durability when you need performance? That's pretty much exactly it. But we come out here with about 9 laps to go on the medium tyre, and we're sitting in third. Ocon is leading the race at this point, but you know, Alpine are going to have to do a pretty good job for Alpine, for Ocon to hold on. But Leclerc, guy's going to win the championship in this save, so it's as simple as that. But you know, for us, all we can do is finish 7th. We overtake Leclerc into just for the DRS zone, and then he actually hits us there and damages his front wing end plate, and you're thinking, what a retard, because at this point he has to pit after this and drops himself right down to the back of the grid. So Verstappen, though, him and Hamilton are the only two that can actually catch Leclerc, but Hamilton actually ahead of Verstappen. But it's a pretty good battle here between me and the championship leaders. Of course, no championship fucking hunt or battle for me in this season 1, but you know what, considering we were battling for like 15th in the first couple of races, I think you'll take where we're actually finishing here. So then hopefully in season 2 we can get the job done. But I'm moving on to lap 24 behind Esteban Ocon. We just set it up, no need to launch into that corner, and now we'll sit in a slipstream, get the DRS, simple as that. And it's going to be a pretty easy overtake here. But you know what, like, it wasn't that easy, because look, even with DRS and slipstream, we're not exactly blasting past them. So we actually just do a switchback, and then if we touch them, and then it's like front wing damage, no, and then that's where you get the job done. Just superior grip there as we overtake him. But then moving on to lap 28, we get the victory here in the Circuit of the Americas. So this was actually pretty well done, and across the line, there we go, and we come out here on the podium. A big Stevie Cool, Esteban Ocon, and what was it, Max Verstappen on the podium there. So there you have it. No, actually Sergio Perez. So Max Verstappen finishes down the 12th. No idea what happened there. There is your race result. Depressing. I mean, it was a very mixed up grid, to be honest, but you know, it was a good drive. Another win for us. You can't complain with victories in this. And next up is Mexico City. It's probably one of my better tracks, to be honest. As you see, though, we move back up to 7th place in the championship. We overtake Valtteri Bottas, who's, to be honest, man, he's having a bit of a shiter. But Hamilton, with what, 3 races to go, is 44 points behind Charles Leclerc. Verstappen, 71. So it's actually mathematically possible for Verstappen, but he needed to finish up there with us at the top, man. But no, man, Ferrari with the fastest car. It's going to be tough for anyone else to get close to Charles Leclerc as we arrive here in Mexico City. And the car feeling pretty good. I mean, we're consistently the quickest car throughout qualifying here. We get P1 there in Q1. Norris gets 7th. And then moving on here, we actually get held up a bit by Norris, our teammate, but we do benefit a bit of the slipstream as we go through the stadium section. Of course, they're going to want a Sergio Perez victory. I seriously doubt a Sergio Perez victory, but I guess you never know. You never really know. He's only ever got a podium around Mexico, and that was last year in real life, so it is what it is for the wee Senior. But he's sitting second at the minute, so you never know. But Q2 finishes, Norris scrapes through, we scrape through, 7/10 off, because I was just staying a lap then pitting, but of course the track gets better towards the end of the session. But here we are, Q3 for Mexico Grand Prix, and as you can see, we've got Yuki Tsunoda absolutely holding us up, but we're 8/10 up on like what pole position's looking like. So I mean, at this point, did it really matter? Not really, because we actually get the slipstream of Tsunoda. I mean, sector 3, alright, it's effective, but you know, at the same time, if you're so much quicker over the first 2 sectors, sector 3 didn't really matter, and it really didn't matter, guys, because we got pole position by just over a 10th for Sainz. But when you factor in penalties and all that good stuff, it's going to be a bit chaotic in the race tomorrow, but especially when the race has got wet conditions, intermediate conditions here around Mexico. We had a wet race around Suzuka not so long ago. But here we are, Perez starting on the front row, Sainz just behind him, Russell, then Gasly. In intermediate conditions, if it was dry, I think I'd have walked this race, but I don't know, the AI just seem always better than you in wet conditions. But immediately, I mean, we're not even arrived at turn 1 yet, and we've lost 3 positions to Perez, Russell and Sainz. We try and do a good job, but I mean, as you see, man, fucking hell, Pierre Gasly completely dive bombs Sainz, and then we do the switch back here. I mean, we get a collision with Shinoda, but we managed to see that through, and now we've got Russell and Sainz up ahead. Don't really understand how Sainz ain't in the title fight. He's in the quickest car. Again, you could argue that in real life for Ferrari, they had the quickest car for a decent portion of the season, but we try to switch back here, but it just doesn't really happen, and Russell and Sainz managed to keep their positions a wee bit longer here as we move on to lap 8, where the track is definitely drying at this point. We managed to catch up to Russell and Sainz, but it still looks wet. But yeah, there was a few people who pit it on the previous lap, and also Perez pits this lap for dry tyres, which I thought was just a bit risky. But we pit here. It seems to just be that everyone puts on the soft tyre as soon as you pit after it dries up a bit, which I don't know, just seems a bit risky, especially at this race, like, because I mean, there's like, what, 29 laps to go. Realistically, you think you would put on a different set, but we come out of the pits and we come out alongside Lance Stroll, and not exactly ideal because he's on inters and he's going to be a lot slower, and we need to be leapfrogging Sainz and George Russell, but we see the move there and we get it done. But moving on to lap 11, where we've got the fastest lap of the race so far, and we're overtaking Sainz in the DRS. He's got the DRS of Russell, but you know, into the stadium section we go, and it's job done. We move up to the podium positions. Now George Russell up next here, lap 13. We're in the DRS. Perez is a wee bit down the road. Russell goes very defensive, but we managed to get the job done. And at this point I thought, fuck it, we're going to pit, we're going to put on the hard tyre because it became a 2-stop now, and we are going to go to the end here. But there was one problem with the hard tyre. It just never heated up, and it just never got up to temperature. And when Perez came out in the mediums, we just had no chance. We had no chance. And he eventually just pulls a gap. Not a massive gap, like he ends up with just a couple of seconds down the road. Then moving on to lap 26 or whatever that is. Lance Stroll, a guy we were battling with not so long ago in this race when he was on the intermediate, absolutely just drives straight into the back of Sergio Perez, brings out the safety car, and at this point I'm thinking, may as well pit for the soft tyre. But the soft tyre drops us out behind Hamilton as well. Ocon and Alonso managed to get themselves an achievement there. But at this point, you know, you have 7 laps to go on the soft tyre against people who are on worn mediums. It should be, not easy like, but you know, it should be done with relative ease, getting back to the front of the grid, at least finishing where we were. Because I mean, we were going to lose out to those two, but Sainz and Russell, Magnussen retires, we overtake Ocon, we're up to P5. Hamilton needs a good result here as Leclerc is not really in the points, but we just switch back on Hamilton there. He gets destroyed. Next up, Carlos Sainz, he gets destroyed into turn 1, and now it's just George Russell and Perez with 2.5 laps to go. If we overtake Russell here, we'll definitely have a chance of Perez going on to the last lap, but Perez being his home Grand Prix, I said earlier, he'd no chance of winning. Well, he has got a decent chance of winning. We hang it around the outside of George Russell. Job done. And Perez up next as we go into lap 35. But a lock up for me. It's a bottle job going into the stadium section, and we lost the chance there. And Sergio Perez wins here at his home Grand Prix. We get second. I mean, pretty good weekend. We don't have the fastest car, getting pole and finishing second. Like, I mean, it's not bad. Leclerc got 9th. Hamilton didn't really outscore him by the points that he needed to, if we're being perfectly honest. Norris getting good points for McLaren, but that is it, guys. So Hamilton got 5th, he got 9th, so Hamilton closed the gap to 36 points with 2 races to go. Championship still on for the main man, but until next time, peace.